Thank you, Jordan. A Wichita man receives a sentence of life in prison in a deadly stabbing that happened about a year ago. Edward Volkin pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and attempted murder in the stabbing death of Sine Leon Montoya. A second woman was also stabbed, but she survived. Police say the attack happened in front of Leon Montoya's children. He was sentenced also to 13 years and 9 months on the attempted murder charge. That sentence will not be served until the first one is complete. That means he will not be eligible for parole for approximately 38 years and 9 months. After